Yeah, if you were on a flat Earth and the Earth was between 2 points, you could see both sides of the moon, depending on who you were, which is not the case.
Yeah, we look at Australia; they see it upside down versus we see it right side up, or vice versa.
Yeah, just like if a ball went across the top of the room, you'd see it.
No, not really.
No.
Hey, why wouldn't it end up here upside down on flat Earth?
It depends on your latitude. You see it from different ways. When you're on one latitude, you're going to see the face one way, and another latitude, you're going to see face the other way.
Yeah, and why wouldn't that happen on a flat Earth?
No, I didn't say that. I said you wouldn't see only one side of the moon. On a flat Earth, you would see both sides of the moon, depending on.
I thought I destroyed this I thought I destroyed this weeks ago.
No, if you were on a flat
Yeah.
Earth and the moon was circling overhead, one person would see one side of the moon, and another person would see another, and that never happened.
So if you have like a chair or a table, okay, and you're viewing it, if you like sit down like next to your table, and then another person sits on the other side, you can see the other side of the table. Okay. Now, if you lie down and look at the table, you will only see one side of the table, right?
What are you talking about? I don't even understand what you're saying.
So imagine your table is the moon. It doesn't matter what shape, because we only ever see one side of the moon, so you don't know if it's flat or spherical or just slightly curved. Okay, that's
the fact
irrelevant.
that you're saying that automatically just negates everything else you said.
Okay, we'll say that's a sphere. Okay, so if you have a sphere and if you have a balloon in your room, okay, and you're viewing it, almost at the eye level, where it's almost at eye level, just slightly higher. Then if you lie down on the ground, you will only see one side of it, right?
What? Let me make this a little clearer for you to understand.
I know exactly what you're talking about. I was arguing.
You put a balloon in the middle of the room. One person stands on one side of the room. Another person stands on another side of the room. They both see different sides of the balloon.
Okay, now raise the balloon up. Now raise the balloon up.
You still can see different sides of the balloon.
We'll see the bottom of the balloon. That's the right answer. They see the bottom.
No, they could see different sides of it, and you never see.
Raise your balloon up. Raise your balloon up, my guy. Raise your balloon higher. Eventually, you won't be able to see the other side of the moon.
Can I offer one little thing I just thought of as you guys were chatting? Why not try and diagram it, model it?
You can model.
Yep. It's very easy to understand.
Is that the Coriolis kit?
If the moon,
that's red.
Yeah.
Model it for Robert, or
no, just model it. Model it on the globe with the moon far away and the Earth rotating, and then model it on a flat Earth circling overhead, or however you want to model it, whatever you think it is.
We don't claim what the moon is. We don't claim what the moon is. We don't claim a height.
I don't claim what the moon is.
We don't claim a size, so that'd be a straw man.
We've never been to the moon. We don't know what it is.
You've never been to the moon.
No, you don't need to know. Wait a second. You don't need to know what it is. Why do you need to know what it is? You need to know that you can see it. And you need to figure out what shape it is and how it would behave as it goes overhead if the Earth is flat and it's circling overhead, or however you want to model it. But if you aren't prepared to even so much as draw it and diagram it, how it should behave, and explain your position, not just with words, but in a diagram, then that is indicative of the issue in that you cannot model it.
I think we can, though. But
then show us how it works. Don't just tell us it should do this, should do that. Show us how it works.
We do not claim
we don't make the claim that we know how the moon works, as you well know, Red Cloud. We don't do that.
Yeah,
and when you look at the moon, we don't get to see the moon in its entirety, so we don't know what it is. We haven't been there. We don't know.
Think about this. I found out my parents adopted me, and then I bring you evidence that they did, and then you're like, well, who are your real parents? And then you start asking all these questions. Do I have to replace everything? Do I have to answer every single question you can think of off the top of your head, or that my parents are suddenly my real parents now?
No, I haven't asked every single question I possibly could. I've asked I've asked one
That's what you
simple
guys have been
thing.
doing. You've been like, "Oh, what about this?
No,
Well, what about
no,
this?"
it's not.
And this
It's
is
not a.
also okay. Let's just say it's one question. Just because I can't answer one question, first of all, just because I can't replace it, does not mean my parents suddenly are not are my real parents. Okay.
If you
And we don't know what the moon
refuse
is.
to
No one knows
test
what the moon
the
is.
claim that
Nobody
your parents
knows
aren't your
what
real
the moon
parents,
is because
and
nobody has been there to
you have
confirm
no
their
tests, and
theory.
you refuse any and all tests to prove that your parents are
That's
either are or not your parents,
Oh,
then
blimey.
But what if there's
you've
a
got to.
way you can't? What if you don't know all the variables, so you cannot test it? If we don't know how the sky works, because we cannot freely and proudly access it, like you can't go up past a certain altitude. It's all militarized. You have to get
Exactly.
your footage
You,
pre-approved, and they actually get to keep the They actually get to have the footage, and that you're relying on them giving you accurate footage. First of all, second, why are you talking about the sky?
if
We're
your
talking about the
if your
Earth.
concept, because you were talking about it, now you're suddenly not talking about it. That was the topic of
You guys
conversation,
are
and
like,
now
there
there was a topic of
why
conversation.
are all the other planets
Yeah,
balls?
but you made some
Because
claims that were not accurate about flat earthers,
Sam,
Reggie. Corrected
I
you on
came
that.
in
Okay?
and
We
asked
didn't
you
make
this
any
because you
correct
were
claim. I know
talking
you can
about
hear
it.
me.
Now
I know
suddenly,
you
why are
can
you
hear me,
looking
Red
up
Cloud.
to
We didn't
the
make any
shape of the
claim
Earth?
to the
Why are
shape
you
of
even
the moon
talking about the
and what it
moon
is.
if it
Okay?
has nothing to
We
do
never
with the
did.
shape of
We
the Earth?
never
Why
did.
was that a
We
contention in the
never did.
conversation?
You
Well,
know
they
that.
were talking, and then I came
Yo,
in.
Hold on, guys.
It
Going
is
on.
it
Red
is a
Cloud.
contention.
Hey,
Well, one second. Moderation. Point of moderation. Red Cloud, do you have Jin muted?
Who?
Jin CBR1.
Yeah, I think he has because he can't hear me talking.
Sorry, Jin. Yes, it was just
Yeah,
a little
put the
messy
volume up,
earlier.
then you damn fool.
No offense,
And pay
Jin. It was a little
attention.
messy earlier, and I was
Shut
trying
up and pay attention, you
to
fool.
figure out what
You're,
people were
you're, you're
saying.
saying
Thank you,
things
Jin.
that we never said. You're making claims that we flat earthers never made,
I
okay?
have
When you
made
came
no
in.
claim.
Shut up. You're talking when I'm talking.
I have
Shut up.
made no claim.
You are
Yeah.
talking
Please,
when I am
please don't
Yeah,
overtalk
talking.
then
each other.
fuck off,
You are
then, Jin.
talking
You can
when I
fuck
am
off.
talking. You are talking when I am
Come on,
talking.
guys.
You guys
Damn
have to go
fool.
one at a
It's first
time.
thing he
I don't
does
want to mute
is say
anybody. You
shut up.
guys, you just
Tell
need to
him
go one at a
Yes, of
time.
course, because you're talking
he
when
can.
I'm talking. So shut up and pay
I
attention.
just turn him right
You
back down
made
again.
some, you're still talking. You made
You didn't
some
do that.
claims about us flat earthers that we didn't make. We don't know the size. We've never been there to confirm what we may
Ladies and
think or
gentlemen,
hypothesize it is. That's why we say we don't know. That's the integral and honest position to take. Thank you. Shut your mouth now.
Jin, best foot forward, man.
Yeah, let's
You'll
try
get
to
what you
keep
get.
it, just straight to the arguments, like make arguments and then arguments against arguments. Let's try not to go after the person if we can.
I'm not interested. So the question is, why is nobody prepared to? Because you're talking about it. You're talking. Well, if it's in the balloon, put the balloon up, and this is how it should behave. This is what it should look like. Okay, so let's put a balloon up. Now we're talking about it, but what about drawing it? Show us in a diagram. It can be crayon. I don't care. Just
sure.
show it in a diagram
I'll
some way.
gladly, I'll gladly draw it.
Do that. Go ahead.
Okay. Just give me a couple minutes.
Okay.
Shout out to word salad.
What's that?
No, I was saying good for you. But can you guys draw it? I mean, like, or draw what we might be thinking? I mean, think about it. I don't know. Maybe a little experiment.
What's being
I'm
said?
drawing it right now.
No, I got the wrong person.
What are you guys drawing?
I'm drawing the moon because they, for some reason, can't grasp this simple concept.
You just see it.
The
Oh,
the
well, we
moon
can
is in
grasp the concept, right?
2D.
The
Dude,
concept
when
is
you look at the
the
moon,
moon
it's
is
in
far away,
2D.
and
Why
so
would
for
someone
every
have to
observer,
draw?
it looks the same as it passes overhead. It does not invert, so it must be far away.
No, I
It
can show
doesn't
you
change in
pictures of the
size.
moon inverting. I can show you pictures of the moon inverting.
Yes,
And
because
then you're going
people
to say,
are
oh,
on
well, that's
different
because of
hemispheres.
refraction. Then you're going to be like, well, that's because of refraction.
No, not because
Just
of
get the
refraction,
goalpost.
because the moon is far away, so it doesn't change in angular size appreciably.
It does actually.
It
You're
matches the Earth
lying.
pretty well. So if there's a diagram you can show, I'm just talking while
Is the moon a
you're
perfect
diagramming it.
circle? Is the moon a perfect circle?
We don't know what the moon
Show
is, so we don't claim what it is.
doesn't
If the moon doesn't change in angular side, what's a supermoon?
Exactly.
appreciably
They
just
say that's
appreciably.
refraction. They say that's refraction. See, they always shift the goalposts.
Still changing
So
in
we're not
angular
talking about
size.
we're not talking about a supermoon once in a while. We're talking about daily.
Yeah, there you are. Refraction or not, it
No,
changes size.
you wouldn't expect it to change size because if you place 3 balls on the floor, okay, place 3 balls on the floor, and view them from eye level, the one in the back will be the smallest. Now stand up and view them from above, and the one in the back will be the same size as the one in the front. Guess what? It's because they're all far away, and so apply that to the moon. The
Yeah.
moon is pretty high up.
Yes, it's far away. Now the question is how far away? It
We
can't
don't
be
claim
within
it.
100 miles.
We don't
Not
know
within
that. We
100
don't know
miles.
that exactly.
No, it could
We
be.
know it's not 238,000 miles away. We know that.
The thing is, it can be calculated.
How?
It can't be.
You could figure out how close it would have to be for it to change size appreciably. You can do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm already suggesting you do that. I'm not going to give you formulas and everything.
Why, you have a specific distance the moon is, or is it like an average? So
you're
is it like
saying
arbitrary, or is it always like, is someone checking it every day? Like, what's going on here?
from different altitudes, you might be able to deduce the size change. Is that what you're trying to say? I don't know, man.
If it's you don't. If it's really close, then go with an altitude. It would be bigger. There's all sorts of ways you can tell.
But you wouldn't be able to tell the exact way. And also, who says it's a physical object?
We talked about
Okay.
that.
Tell me how you confirm that it is a physical object.
Because you can see it.
We'll just.
So I
but
can
that's
see a
what
laser on my wall. That means the laser is a physical object.
Oh,
No, you can see that it has features. It's obviously not a laser. It has physical features. It has
I didn't say it's a
shape.
laser. It's an example. Just because you can see something does not mean it's a physical object.
You're denying that the moon is
So I can
physical now.
project something on my wall that looks like a physical moon, but that does not mean it's a real moon.
we can bounce
Is it possible
radio.
in your
You can bounce
worldview, Red Cloud?
lasers off it. You can bounce radar off it.
Yeah, how do you know you're bouncing it off the moon? How do you know you're bouncing it off the
Aim
moon?
away. You aim away
It's
from the
a
moon,
game,
and it
isn't it?
doesn't come back to
You're
you.
bouncing it towards the moon, but how do you know you're bouncing it off the moon?
Because if you aim it away from the moon, it doesn't come back to you.
All right. So a couple more 10 years, we'll give you a moon camera, just a moon cam of the Earth.
Okay, here's the
10
picture.
years?
Here's one picture.
100.
So I dropped it in the live chat. The one picture some people are posting after me, but here's the first picture. So you see how people can see the different sides of the moon? Now we raise the altitude. Oh, no way. Look, you suddenly can't see the different sides. And if you're like, well, you can still see it, then increase it even further. Okay?
Yeah, we raised the altitude to 384,400 kilometers, and guess what? Yeah, it works well. Thank you.
Where are you? In live stream text? Okay, there you are.
Yeah,
live stream. Is that
we raised the moon's altitude to where it is, and guess what? It works.
Great example. Great image there. Well done.
Words out. I appreciate that you did. I did say more of it, but that's not really what I meant.
Thank you for
and also,
thank you
please
for
note that there's a video in there. Hang on a second.
Yeah,
there's a video in there.
Thank you for showing that the
moon
way
is
that
plasma,
everybody's.
and no one will land on it.
Yeah, the moon is not plasma, by the way. But
It's unmodelable.
Yeah, we know how far away the moon
so,
is.
Until you can answer this question about why you're with this thing about your parents adopting you, then your parents are your real parents. Okay.
What does that mean?
So if I prove that my parents aren't my real parents and they adopted me, and then you're like, well, how do you explain this?
Dude.
And then I'm like, well, I don't know. I just know that these are my real parents. I falsified that. And then you're like, well, how do you explain this?
With all due respect, we're not asking you to explain anything about the moon other than the fact that you can see it and to figure out what shape it would have to be and the distance it would have to be to behave the way it does in the sky, according to your idea of what the shape of the Earth is.
Yeah, but how does it behave anyway? What behaviors are you talking about?
The atmosphere. You're also assuming the medium. You're assuming your little box straw man vision type thing that you say.
What I'm hearing from you is that you'll never be able to.
What behaviors are you talking about?
No, we don't have curved visual space. Stop with the curved visual space stuff.
If your position is,
if you can disprove it, then I'll give props to you.
In the meantime, we have radio waves that are not affected by curved visual
No, they
space.
don't.
So
They don't go there.
yeah,
That's a fallacy.
the radio waves take
Fallacy,
you know,
NASA.
2.5 seconds to go round trip. So we know
That's
how
a
far away the
fallacy,
moon is.
NASA. It's never been
This
proven.
Not a
this is
fallacy. Fuck off,
It's a
it's a
fallacy,
fallacy.
NASA.
Not a
In any way,
fallacy.
in
Fuck
any way,
off, it's a
shape, or
fallacy.
form, that is a fallacy in every shape
Incorrect
or
again.
form.
Incorrect again. We know how it
No,
works.
not incorrect. There's no way we
Incorrect.
know
Totally
how
incorrect.
far
You're wrong.
the moon
No, we
is.
do
And the
know.
idea that you
We
can
do
send a
know.
signal
hold on.
and for it to bounce off is a joke. The only
We
way
do know.
I could accept that as a standard is
Of
if I
course
am
not. You
on
won't
the moon
accept it.
receiving that signal.
Oh,
Then I
Of
know we
course
can
not.
send it
You won't.
outside
You won't
of that.
accept it
It's
I
because
know a
we
belief.
know that.
moderator would tell you
Believe it.
guys to talk one
No.
at a
Stop.
time. Talk one at a time.
Jin is saying something that's wrong. I mean, we know
that's
how far
okay.
away the moon is. You
Talk
can
one
do it.
at a
I'm not
time. That's
saying
all.
anything that is wrong.
Yep.
You're wrong,
It's
NASA.
wrong.
You're
No,
lying.
incorrect. You can take a
Just
radio,
talk one at a
shine
time,
it,
boys.
point it at the moon, and 2.5 seconds later, you get the same thing coming
That
back.
is
There's no.
a fallacy that
We
can't be
don't.
proven. You
How's
need
that a
to go.
fallacy? Tell me
You're
how
not
that's a
allowed to
fallacy.
know that. None of us can
NASA Shield.
confirm
1
that.
second, NASA Shield.
How do
Give me
we
a second.
confirm that?
Jen, we don't need you to accept it. We already have
That's
it
fine.
figured
Yeah,
out.
that's we
We
don't
don't need
accept it. We don't
your
accept
approval.
it, and it's bullshit.
That's
Is what
not.
it is.
That's
Oh, you
not.
can do it yourself.
Bullshit is what it is.
That's not
We've
me.
never tested
NASA,
them.
it is BS
What do you
because
mean
you're
it's
assuming the
bullshit?
medium. You're
We
assuming
don't
the
know. You don't
medium.
have to assume. You don't have to assume anything. Nope. No assumptions made. You take your radio, you shine it at the moon, and 2.5 seconds later, you get the same signal back. We know how far away the moon
Bullshit.
is. 2.5
It's
wait,
never
No,
been
you
seconds.
don't.
But
You
you're
never been
assuming you're
because you're getting the
What do
distance
you
from
mean
the
you
time,
don't?
and that assumes the medium.
What do you mean it
assuming the medium.
assumes the medium? What do you mean
Assumes.
it assumes the medium?
Yeah, dense medium in
Oh my
between.
goodness.
Dense
What do you
medium.
mean assumes the
Ether.
medium? Stop it. We know
AKA ether.
what ether?
AKA
There is no
ether.
What
ether.
ether?
Well, so what? Okay, there's ether.
Ether.
So it's still 2.5 light seconds away. We know how far light
Yeah.
travels in a
Think
second.
about this. Think about this. If
Light,
I
what's the
send
speed of light? Hold on. What's the speed of light?
We know what the speed of light is. Really fast.
What is it?
Anyone want the number?
What is the
Yeah,
speed
yeah.
of light? Is it wrong? If so, by how much is it wrong? Tell us if the speed of light is not what we say.
Hold up. One step at a time. NASA,
Why?
go ahead. What's the speed of light?
186,000 miles a second. Okay, next question.
In which medium?
Any medium?
Any medium.
That's not true.
Oh wow!
That's not true.
200,
You're like totally.
299,792,458 meters per second.
Okay.
In what medium? What density?
That's in a vacuum chamber.
Yeah, in the vacuum of space, we know that.
Yeah, and that's.
Oh, can you prove that? Can you prove the vacuum of space?
Yeah, sure.
Who proved it?
Yep.
I thought
Okay.
you guys went to school and
Hold
Hold on. What altitude are you proving the pressure for?
You take a barometer up on a balloon, it'll get higher and higher, and the altitude, as the altitude increases, the air pressure decreases until there is no air pressure, and then the balloon pops.
Okay, at what altitude?
There is no reason to
How high do you
assume.
want to go?
That doesn't
There's
mean
no
there's
reason.
not a dense medium, aka
Hold up.
You're
there's-
talking
Oh,
about
it does. Actually, we can
One
just,
second.
We'll just pretend.
Red cloud. We took this balloon up. What altitude do we have the barometer at?
We'll just
I don't know
pretend that
exactly.
there's a medium there, even though there isn't. We've shown it, but that's okay. We'll just pretend there is because we can.
You have
say
no
it.
clue what the medium is because no one's been up there.
NASA Shill,
What do
please
you
stop
mean there-
interrupting, dude.
there are
We
12
have to go.
there are 12
Moderation,
there are
NASA
12
Shill, please,
there are
dude. This is
12
moderation.
there are like 12 people in space, right?
Okay, we gotta go one at a time, please, guys.
12 people in space, right?
NASA Shill, I just put you on mute for a second because what's happening is Percentage's mic has a little bit of an echo. So it like really is just becoming audio chaos. So please, just one at a time.
Forgive me. By Red Cloud, what altitude is the balloon at?
What's that? Sorry, I'm sorry. I did answer it before, but let me make sure I got the question right. What was that again? Sorry.
What altitude is the balloon at?
What altitude is what balloon at?
You said you attached, theoretically, you attach a barometer to a balloon, and you let it go up, and it measures the pressure until it pops. What altitude is it measuring the pressure at?
The entire way up. The altitude, as the altitude increases.
What's the max altitude?
Here's the thing. Give me 1 second. I was just criticized because, you did the "Are your parents real parents?" and I was accused of asking you every single question under the sun. That's exactly what you're doing right now.
No, I'm asking the same question again and again and again.
Yes,
what altitude did you measure the gas pressure at? What's the max altitude?
Principle.
No, it's not.
Let me give you the principle.
He wants an answer to his question.
As the altitude gains, air pressure decreases. There is no reason to
What is the
assume
altitude?
that beyond the point where, say, a balloon will pop or whatever, that the air pressure will magically start to increase. So if it decreases, it's reasonable to assume that it continues decreasing until there's none left. There's no
Yes,
reason
but
to
you're
assume
assuming that
anything
there's
is
no
less.
ether.
So it's an assumption.
So
you don't
No,
know.
it's not an assumption.
You're assuming, like I said at the very beginning, you're assuming the medium, right?
I'm not assuming the medium. You're claiming
Oh my
the medium is unknown, and that is false.
It is unknown. We have an
No, it is
undetermined
not.
amount of. It could be.
No, it is not.
Everything that's not. Hold up. Everything that's not known at first seems like magic, right?
You're claiming that it's not known.
One
That
second.
is false.
It's
yes. Okay,
bro.
sorry.
You haven't proven. We're going in circles. I asked you for an altitude with the barometer, and you haven't brought it yet. What's the highest altitude we have an actual barometric pressure reading of space?
That is like asking for if your parents are your real parents. That's
not.
irrelevant to the principle.
No, it's
provable. Parents are real parents is not really provable.
It's not provable.
Yeah, that is a valid question to ask. You've got a barometer.
No, it
it's
isn't.
meant to be making measurements. It should be recorded.
It's not a valid question to ask. What you should be doing is testing.
Red Cloud, you said yourself you put a barometer on a balloon and you put it up and you get pressure reading.
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay, so it should have been done, right? If anyone can do it easily, then it's been done in the past. Give me an actual barometric pressure reading of a barometer on a balloon.
No, you do your own research.
Exactly.
You haven't done it.
So you can't just.
Is it possible? Is it possible for a reason unknown to us? Hold up, Red Cloud. Is it possible for a reason unknown to us that the pressure does start increasing again?
I'd like to see evidence for that. Why would you assume
That's not what I asked. I said, is it possible?
No.
What? It's impossible?
Yes, it's impossible.
How would he know that?
What does this have to do with
because people in craft have been up that high. You just simply deny that it's true. That's irrelevant to a conversation about
law of hydrostatics
what we can physically measure.
Hold on,
Your denial
it does
is
technically
irrelevant.
change. It does technically change in directions, because if you go towards like a body in space that has an atmosphere of some sort, it's going to start increasing there. So, and you don't even know what direction up is, anyways.
What does this have to do with the distance to the moon?
Nice.
They're assuming the medium. He has 2.5 light seconds that he's judging the distance off of, assuming the speed of light. But he doesn't know the speed of light because he doesn't know the medium.
All of this is a red herring.
Depending on the medium.
It's irrelevant.
It's not red herring at all.
We know what the distance to the moon is.
No, you don't.
We don't need to know the distance to the moon. We don't need to know what the moon is. We don't need to know anything about it other than that we can see it. And it is physical.
What?
Of course it's
physical.
physical.
So if I see a projection on my wall, that means it's physical.
That's deja vu, man. You just said the same thing you said 2 minutes ago. No, because we can see that it has features. If you can prove that it's a projection, if it's a projection,
I never
you will be able to bounce radar, radio waves off it.
Do you understand what a point is? If I'm saying
it's a bad point
I'm
because
not
we
saying
know that
the projection. I'm saying your point that's saying just because you can see something means that it's a physical object. That's stupid.
It's another point because we can bounce radio waves and
yeah, but you haven't actually established the Earth to be a globe.
You said that you could just see it.
To know the radius of it. Yeah, you haven't established the Earth to be a globe.
I can't hear you because Jin keeps chiming in. Say again. I'm sorry with OSL.
Yeah, I was saying that you haven't proven the Earth to be a globe, so everything you said is null and void. As someone else said, it's irrelevant. You haven't proven the Earth to be a globe. To claim
yes,
the 2 seconds is a joke. It's laughable. Prove the Earth as a globe.
We're talking about the
please.
moon. Stop deflecting. We're talking about the moon.
We've got people in space right now orbiting the Earth. There's pictures.
No, but that's a lie. They're all fake.
Oh, allegedly. He's a believer, man.
Well, you guys,
He's
you
a
understand that,
they're all Masons.
Red Cloud,
He's
Robert,
a believer.
that's an appeal to authority, right? If we grant your appeal to authority, you'd have to grant
Authority's got nothing to do with it.
You don't have to interrupt me. If we grant your appeal to authority, then you'd have to grant any appeal to authority that the contrary side makes, right?
You're deflecting from what I have originally been saying. If you go up in altitude, air gets thinner. There's no reason to assume that behavior doesn't magically change at an altitude that is unknown to us.
Okay,
because we've been there. That's the first thing, and it's not a straw man.
Yes, it is, because you're assuming that we're talking about atmosphere, not an ether. Or some sort of fluid-like medium. Fluid-like medium. How do you know that? How do you know that there's no ether? Tell me how do you know
there's no science to prove there's any ether. No
That's
flat
what
earther.
all of science was founded on before.
No flat earther. No flat earther has done any science to prove that an ether exists.
How do you know that?
You just say ether.
How
I
many
think
flat
that's
Earth videos have you watched? How many flat
They
Earth
say
videos have you watched?
ether. They say dark matter. They say every stupid thing known to
What
man.
about
Dark matter is your guys' stuff.
what about
yeah.
It
before
makes
300 years ago?
96% of
So let's.
your religious universe.
So when I
96%.
so when I came in just a few minutes ago, I suggested that we model the moon or what the moon may be,
Can't
and
be done.
show its behavior in a model,
Yeah,
and then show how that
okay.
works on a flat Earth. That
That,
remains undone. That remains
Okay.
not
It
That would
can't
be
completely
a
be
no,
done.
done.
straw
The
man
moon
because
can't
we
be
don't
Of course, it
modeled.
claim the
remains undone
size
because they can't
or
do it.
distance or
I accept
mediums of
no
the ship.
logical fallacies.
Yes, it
The
is because
burden of
it's
proof
a straw
lies
man because
with
No,
you're
you.
assuming the distance, assuming the
I'm
size,
not
assuming
assuming
what the moon
anything.
is, assuming
I'm
the
not
You have to
mediums.
assuming
assume
They
anything.
have.
everything.
We know the distance. We can measure the
You
size.
haven't
Yep.
proven the Earth as a globe yet,
I
though. You
do.
haven't
I
Oh
proven
do.
that.
my
You haven't proven
God!
the Earth as a
Word
globe.
salad.
That
I
hasn't
do
been done yet.
appreciate that you drew
You
that
haven't done
out.
that. You haven't proven the Earth is a
Not
globe.
to you,
So
Jin.
you're working from
Not
a false premise.
What we
It's a
need.
and
false
not
premise.
to you,
No
Jin.
globe,
But
no
everybody
moon,
else in the world,
no
everybody
sun,
else in the
no
world knows the
nothing.
Earth is a sphere.
Can
So
one of the
far, keep
mods
moving.
tell people
Nobody
just
knows
talk
it.
one at a
Nobody knows
time?
it. They believe it.
Can one
They
of the
don't know
mods
it.
tell
Hey
people
guys,
just
yeah,
talk one
yeah.
at a time?
Yeah.
Let's have less over talking, please.
If we can stick to the topic rather than just yeah. So the fact remains that I don't believe that it can be modeled, and that's why I believe that people are avoiding trying to model it, because if you try to model it, it clearly wouldn't work, and so you avoid that.
Well,
Okay.
not really. No,
So
you
you're
haven't proven that the Earth is a globe. That hasn't been
So I'm
established. That's the
It has
first
been
thing that you've got
established.
wrong.
assume this
No, it
and I
hasn't.
want
2,500
It's
years has
not.
been established, Jin.
No, it
Stop
has
it.
not. No, it has
Yes, it
not.
has.
We're
Okay,
not
then why
ever
are you guys
2,500
proving
off
years.
by
anything today.
96%? Why are you guys
has
off
nothing
by
to do with the moon,
96%?
We're
nothing
not
to
off
do
by
with the moon.
96%. Stop it.
Yes, you are. I can
What?
give you all your top scientists saying
What 90?
it.
What are we off by
Me too,
96%?
Kaku. You guys are off by
That's
your
it.
model is nine.
Stop
You're
it. That has
96%
nothing.
stupid.
That's
Has
not the.
nothing
That's
to
not
do with
the
the moon's
diameter of the
distance.
Earth. That's not
Bullshit.
measuring the Earth. Stop it.
No, that's your model.
That's not
It's
our
not.
That's the
model.
heliocentric
Nope.
spinning globe model that
That's
you claim
incorrect.
you believe, but you can't provide any evidence for.
That's incorrect. That has nothing. That's cutting edge science.
Okay,
Has
so you don't
nothing to
claim the Earth
do
is
with this.
spinning
Has
around,
nothing
spinning
to do.
around the
Has nothing
sun?
to do with the
Thanks.
Earth. Has nothing. I was actually talking, but okay, you can interrupt me because you're a mod, right?
has nothing to do with something.
Has nothing
Yeah.
to do with the
2,500.
shape of the Earth. Has nothing to do with the solar system. It has to do with the far, far edge of the known
Yeah.
universe.
It's
No,
nothing to do with the
no.
moon or
For
its
2,500
And
behavior
the
Incorrect.
as it
years.
moon,
goes
or the
overhead.
sun, or any of the planets, or anything.
Okay,
Here's the thing.
so
Here's the thing.
Hey,
If I
you
may just
understood what
add this
Kaku
one thing,
said
if I
here.
may.
did I
You
get to
got
respond to your long rant?
wasn't a rant. It was a simple statement of
Yeah, it was a
fact.
rant
Yeah,
because
give
No,
It
it's a
word
wasn't
salad a
simple
long
chance
as
to
it
statement of
wasn't a
fact.
respond.
rant.
Hang on, it's not
And Northern
give.
Rebellion, when he talks about the scientific method, he's
No,
talking about
that's not
QE's
that's
four-step
not
method.
a chance for you to chime in. Give word salad a chance to respond. You guys made a claim. He would like to talk. He was about to say something.
yeah, so
Oh,
it definitely does
Galatrax is here.
apply.
I'm sorry, Galatrax is
Hold on,
here.
NASA. Hold on. Let him get
Okay,
through.
NASA chill. Look, he was talking at the same He time you were jumped. talking. He He jumped let you out. go. That
Let
guy's
him. Let him
such a
get.
Yeah, so
troll. Yeah.
it definitely does
Wait a
apply
second.
because if you're going to apply the same laws of gravitics to the solar system as you will to the rest of the universe, you'll find that gravity is off, which means if you guys make a prediction and you're off by 96%, shouldn't you say that your model is wrong? Because, like, if you're off by that much, you're only 4% accurate. How can you say your model is correct?
What the hell are
The
you
topic
talking?
I'm trying to get a resolution to here, or at least keep you semi on it, is the moon's behavior as it passes overhead. And the fact is, you cannot model it. And I would like you to disprove that. Can you prove me wrong in my assertion that you cannot model the moon over a flat Earth because it doesn't match observations, and therefore it cannot be the the idea that you have that it's circling overhead or
The
whatever you
moon
want to
is
say it is.
operating
It
on a
is.
flat Earth every day of the
Jin,
week. It's you that
Jin, the
needs to
man was
prove the
the
globe.
man was
You
talking.
haven't
Jin, let him finish
established
his
the globe
point.
yet. You haven't established your globe. Okay?
Jin,
That's
the
what
man
you've
was
got to
talking.
do.
Let him finish
You're
his
working
point.
from a false premise.
Jin,
You're
hang on,
working from a
please. The
false
man was
premise.
talking. Let him finish
Okay,
his
man,
point.
chill. Let him finish. Then we'll talk to him.
Go ahead, Rick.
So the thing is, guys, I'm not assuming anything of the medium or anything. If the speed of light is off by like it's half the speed we think it is, or twice the speed we think it is, that doesn't even matter. All I know that is when I see the moon, it doesn't change size appreciably during the day. It doesn't change size appreciably multiple days. It doesn't invert as it goes overhead, as it should on the AE map or whatever the map you want to say it is. And it doesn't change shape. So it has to be spherical. It has to be quite far away. And it cannot be circling over a disk or whatever that is the claim. That's all I'm saying. I'm not assuming anything, straw manning, or any of that stuff. Thank you.
Yeah,
All right,
you
now I believe
definitely are
Jin
straw
wanted.
manning.
I think Jin
You
wanted to
definitely.
get in, so go ahead, Jin.
I
Yeah,
actually do
thanks
want
for
to
that.
say
Yeah,
that
thanks for that. I was just saying that they're working from a false premise because they haven't established anything in the way of the globe being alive, and they need to prove that before they can say they can send a signal to the moon at 2 seconds, returning in 2.5 seconds, which is rubbish. That's all I'm saying. Okay, they've got the burden of proof. We don't have to prove anything.
Yeah. So now I will show how this is a straw man. If you model the moon and it is the wrong size or the wrong distance or it's in the wrong medium because you can hold a magnifying glass or a magnifying dome or something like that, and it changes things drastically the way things behave. If you ignore all that, if also you assume that we have a certain type of vision, because you Globers like to say, oh, trigonometry, and then you like to draw straight lines from the eyes and act like we don't have that perspective doesn't exist and that things don't appear to converge. You like to pretend all that, and you're going to tell me that that wouldn't be a straw man of flat Earth?
I didn't mention anything about the flat Earth. I specifically
Okay.
stated that whatever you want to think the Earth is, other than a globe, all you're saying is not globe. That's fine, not globe. So what is it? So
We don't
let's. Okay, you don't know. So make something up.
we don't know
Make
its
a model.
size, shape,
Impossible.
distance, or the moon. Okay,
Create a
or the
model.
medium.
Create a model. You make it any model you want. Because right now, Geo likes the dipole thingy model. Okay, make that model and see if it works in reality. The AE map is out. AE model's out, so we know that. So
No, we don't.
make a
Because
replacement.
we don't. The AA
You
model, I
don't?
think, is mostly correct. Yeah, but
Geo?
anyway, so if you were to model the Earth, but you assume the wrong size of the moon, that would be a straw man of flat Earth. We don't know the size, distance, or medium the moon is in.
Yes, we do.
Can you wrap your head around that?
We
No,
do.
because
You
tell you why.
do,
Because
and
I'm not
you're an
straw manning
idiot.
flat Earth because I said nothing about flat Earth. I
You
didn't. I
said
didn't
everything
say that
about
you
flat
had. I did. I did. I said nothing about flat Earth. I said that if you are not globe, so you're not a flat earther, you're a not glober. Let's just say that, okay? It isn't a globe. You don't know what it is, but it isn't a globe. If you want to know what it is, you're going to have to do one thing, and that is try to make a model and test it to see if it matches observations. That's all you have to do.
So if I
If
don't
it,
know who my real parents are, all I have to do is just test to see who my real parents are, even though I have
Who
no data. I have no way to
who
find
proved?
out of all the millions of people who my real parents are. But just if I cannot find out who my real parents are, that means that the parents who I know adopted me are suddenly my real parents.
I
Apples to
honestly,
oranges.
I would leave that analogy.
Word
I would
salad.
do
That was
more
word salad.
physical analogy. It's a bit weird.
Yeah, I mean, that
Honestly,
might be the
word
case
salad.
too,
Trust
honestly.
me.
I
No, they're
think
good
at that
examples.
point you would, your adopted
It's not.
parents, you would
One
want
thing's
them
got
to be
nothing to
your
do
real
with
parents.
another.
Yeah,
No, the
it's
point is
That
completely.
was a pretty good analogy.
you just need to prove it.
It's
And
not. Taylor, how
who
is it?
Yeah, it was.
proved what so far? Who
It's
proved what so far? The 2,500 years, allegedly, I think it's a couple hundred of proven it all works.
yes.
By who?
By everyone that's ever tested it. The only people
Yeah, it's
who
by
saying it doesn't work are the
96%
people who
off.
haven't tested it.
96% off.
Except, no, but
That works
except for the
totally.
ones.
We're not talking
Except
about
for,
the universe. We're talking about the shape of the Earth.
okay, and we're talking
No, it
about
has
the
everything to
ones
do with it.
yeah, before 300 years ago. What were they talking about? Or 500, and those weren't scientists, or they just didn't get it yet. And we're talking about high school level or even less arguments. So I don't know if we're getting anywhere.
Well,
You're Robert
When
Simmons.
we,
Why did you post that straw man in the chat?
the fact remains
That's
is that
making the moon a certain height. You're making humans. Okay, first of all, you made the humans like super tall. So that's another straw
It's a
man, because you
diagram
wouldn't
so
be
you
able
can
to see that
understand what I'm
high.
talking about. It's a
I'm
diagram so you
going
can
to
understand what I'm
My
saying.
diagram is
diagram.
way more accurate, and everyone can
No, your
agree on that.
diagram looks like a disgusting drawing. I made a very
That doesn't
clear thing.
matter. It's still
Say,
accurate. It's
no, it's
still more
not.
You
accurate than
can
yours. Because yours has the moon sideways, and you have humans that are super tall. Mine simply has
It doesn't matter. It's
angles,
to show you what I'm
showing
talking
how when
about.
you
I'm
raise
saving
the
this.
altitude of something, you see over it. So you wouldn't be able to see the other
You
side.
don't. You just don't understand what I'm saying. You say that the
I can
moon.
understand totally.
You
Tell
say
me what's
that the moon
inaccurate
is.
about my drawing,
Hold on, guys.
Excuse me.
besides
Try
the
to
crudeness.
take
Excuse
turns.
me.
Try to take
Excuse me,
turns.
word
Calm down.
salad. You say that the moon is circling over a flat planar Earth, right?
Yes,
Okay.
maybe.
If that were,
It's a
is that what you're
type
saying?
of circuit. Type of circuit. I think it's part of the electromagnetic field, torus field.
Well, whatever.
Yeah, that
You're saying it's moving
you
around
can
some
treat it
sort of
like
a
that. Yeah.
flat. It's moving around a flat planar Earth. So I posted a diagram to show if the moon was moving around your flat pizza land, then people on one side of the Earth would see one side of the moon, and people on the other side of it would see another side of the moon. But in reality, that never happens, and you just can't
So
understand that.
what's inaccurate about my drawing?
I don't even care about your drawing.
There's
I'm just telling
nothing.
you what I'm saying.
Hi.
There's
It's
nothing.
showing. It destroys your entire little argument because when you raise the
What?
altitude, do
It
you
doesn't matter.
understand it?
Come on.
Raise the altitude, and you can't see the other side.
I don't want to
Look at
have
the
to
No.
do
first
this for
picture.
you.
Look at the first picture. Do you see how you can see people on different sides see different sides? Then the
Altitude's got
second
nothing to
picture,
do
you
with it.
raise the altitude.
Altitude has nothing to do with it.
It doesn't. Yeah.
Okay?
It's
Okay,
okay. So
you need to debunk my drawing. Otherwise, you're just saying,
well,
nuh-uh.
how about this
No,
word
you're
salad?
what,
How
saying
about this?
what
nuh-uh.
about
Can I
what
ask you
about
this?
two people? What about two people in the world at night time looking at, say, an angle of like 25 degrees into the sky in opposite directions to see the moon? They're clearly not looking. They're looking more like your first diagram, aren't they?
Yeah. So, where are the
How do
people?
they
Like,
see the same pattern?
what's the distance between the two people? Because the
Look,
moon,
you've
remember, it
got,
drops below the horizon eventually.
excuse me. Excuse
Sure,
me.
but before it's
Yeah,
dropped to the
because Earth is a globe.
horizon, you've got two people in very vastly different parts of the Earth at night. One has just gone past dusk, and one's just about to go through dawn, and they can see the moon, and they're looking at radically different directions to see it, and they're looking at the same thing, and so then they can't be looking at exactly the same perspective of it, can they?
What?
Oh Lord. Okay.
Say that all again,
Sorry,
Patrick.
I was typing something.
If you got two people vastly distant to each other, one's at night at dawn, one's at night just after, either side of dawn and dusk. Okay, they're looking at the moon. They're looking at radically different directions at the same thing, radically different directions. And this thing appears to them both to have exactly the same pattern on it. How does that work?
Okay, what's the altitude that you're making the moon at?
Let's supposing the altitude is
Draw
25.
your little diagram. Draw your diagram, and then
No,
I'll destroy it.
let's suppose in the elevation angle is say 25 degrees for both of them, but they're looking in completely different directions. So it's more like your first
No,
diagram.
altitude. Altitude.
Altitude of what? The moon?
Yes.
You want me to give you an altitude of the moon? Well, you would dismiss all the altitudes of the moon that are given. So what do you want an altitude for now?
No, no. If you place a certain altitude, then that's a straw man. Because you could be saying, oh, wait. If you say that the altitude, like if I say the moon would be at eye level, like if it's right below eye level, of course you'd see different sides. Then if I raise it up, you're going to see less of the other side, and you're going to see more and more of just one side. Correct?
No.
Yeah, but you'll
Okay,
never
you
share
failed.
exactly
You
the same.
failed,
You'll
Jim.
never share exactly the same perspective, will you? Because you're looking at different angles at the same thing, aren't you? It'll
I
never be
I
completely the
have to
same, will
say
it?
this. I have to say this again. Why is it not possible to try to model it out on what you perceive to be the shape of the Earth?
Because you have to assume the medium, assume the distance, assume the size,
To
No, you
pick a
don't.
assume
size,
how
pick
our
a
vision
distance,
works.
Pick anything you want.
So no one's done that.
Because all the time that you do science, you make assumptions. All of the time you do science.
That
There's
means
no
that if you
time.
straw man all then it's wrong. I'm gonna make a straw man, and then that means I beat up someone.
There is
Well,
no
I
time.
think
I can make a straw man
There
of
is
my
no
rival
time
and beat him up.
that
Oh, you have to
when you,
assume that he's this weak. That means he's that weak, and I can easily beat him up.
you
I think what Red Cloud is saying though is if you just take, just make some guesses or assumptions, and if that's not what we observe in reality, then you can scratch that off your list for what's happening.
then go make another
Yeah,
assumption.
that would take years, and we've only had 10. We have no
Well,
money,
look how
no
long we've been
resources.
in this server, bro.
Yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah,
coming up on 10 years
so
right now,
people need.
and that should have been started at day one. You should have started this process
Yeah,
day one.
we're still trying to figure out what everything about it so that we can eliminate certain variables.
With all due respect, I don't think you are trying to
With all
figure it
due
out because you
respect,
would
if
have
I may be able
started
to
trying.
just
And
get in there
the
just for
diagram that
testing.
I made was simply to refute your claims of exclusivity. That's
Yeah.
all.
Right. Yeah.
I didn't
Basically,
understand that. Can you
we
say that
don't want
again?
to be modeling things through assumptions because that's not going to get us anywhere. That's why
That
we're in
makes sense.
trouble now. You haven't established the globe, and you've gone from one false premise to the next, to the next, to the next. We're no longer in reality with your model. It doesn't even exist. So you need to work
Why
that
are
out.
all
We
the
don't have
other
to do anything.
planets
We don't
balls?
claim
And
a
why are
shape.
all the
We
other
do not
planets
claim a shape.
round? And how does the
We
sun
do
set
not
for it?
claim a shape,
Well,
sir. We've never
the
claimed a
moon for
shape.
sure is.
We've just said that the Earth is not a globe. That's it. That's all we've been saying.
So, Woodside, could you repeat your previous statement? I didn't quite get it. Thank you.
Why are all the other planets balls? And why are all
No,
the
but
other planets round? And how do
before
sunsets
that,
work? Yeah, you guys just point at
before
the
that,
sky and say, wow, look, the sky matches my model, even though we made the model from the sky. That means my model is correct.
if it matches observations, then the model is probably correct. Yeah,
No.
and if it doesn't, then it's probably not.
If I make a story, if there's a murder that happens, and I make up a story based on certain things facts that I know about the murder, and make a story and make up a background, you know that there are plenty of movies about real stories where they make up a background, and just because it matches does not mean the story I made up is real.
We're not talking
Do you
about
agree with
stories
that?
in fiction. No, I don't agree with that.
Yeah, no. A story is the same as a model. If you make a model just because it matches does not mean the model is true.
The
And it
problem
doesn't
is
match,
you
by the
have
way.
is you can test your model
We
to
don't
see
have a model
true.
yet because we cannot freely explore the Earth or the
Let
sky.
me say this again. You can test your model and see if it's true or isn't true. If
Right,
you
you're
can't
We
testing
don't
it.
They
prove
don't
your
have a
have
model.
model, then
They don't
your
have a model.
idea of reality does not exist in reality. Your
They don't
Testing.
concept
have a
of what the
model.
world is doesn't exist because you
Well, a
can't model it
model
and
is
you know that.
not reality. We need
They
to
don't have a
define that for
model
We
because they
everybody.
don't
can't
live in
make.
my
Model
mind. I
is
know.
not
I know.
reality. It's definitionally
They
not.
can't make a model because there's no way a flat Earth model
Hey,
works.
if you want
No,
to
we
address
can't make
Yeah,
people
a
in the
test.
you
room and
guys
their
can't make a
arguments,
model either.
address people in the room and their arguments. Don't just say they. We don't need to stereotype people. Let's go arguments and claims, not people.
Well,
Well, the fact that you're a
technically,
flat Earther and you're embarrassed about being a flat Earther is not my problem.
I
no,
A
we
am
don't
not a
care.
flat
model
earther. I
is
never. Hang on. I am not a flat
a
earther. I never
model is a
claimed to be a
smaller
flat
version of,
earther. I never
bro.
claimed to be
This
that.
guy is
Robert, do you
silly.
have
Then
any?
what are you
Cattle,
then? Then what are
Hold
you
on,
then,
let's define a
Intelligent?
Cattle is
model.
making a
We need
Why
to
don't
Cattle
define
you
a
is
let him
model
modeling
now.
finish
out
his
fiction.
sentence?
It's because Red Cloud and Robert get so triggered every time I speak. Robert, if you have any proof of that claim, present it, because this is the
What
third
claim?
time you've accused me of being a flat earther. You
So what
don't have
are you
any
then?
proof of that.
Stop interrupting.
What are you then?
Stop, Robert. He needs to be
So
muted.
because I'm telling you that your
Impossible.
claim is fallacious and you don't have proof for it, I need to now present to you a replacement claim? Your claim is that I'm a flat earther. Substantiate it or say I'm sorry for slandering you.
Hey, Galatrax, what shape is the Earth?
This is not the
Hey, stop
task.
trying to backtrack.
Yeah, exactly. He won't answer because he's a flat
Yeah,
earther, but he's
science.
embarrassed.
It's
Do
impossible.
you have to have a label to participate in a
He's fucking
conversation?
embarrassed that he's a flat
No,
earther.
thank you, sir. And you
All right,
can't
so this
force
is
people
just
to
ad
Hey,
get
Taylor.
hominem
religion.
attacks. Look,
Taylor,
It's
what
okay if
shape is
people
the
don't
Earth?
know.
you do not
Taylor,
need
what
to
shape is the
make
Earth?
a claim. You don't need to make a claim about the shape of the Earth to
Then
participate in discussions. No, you don't, Red Cloud.
Yeah.
that's totally fine.
And
In
how
that
could he
case,
know the shape
it's a
of the
globe.
earth when he can't leave the earth to know it? He knows the earth's surface. The surface is a level. We know that. And we know it's not a spherical ball shape because we're not measuring the curvature. And we've never ever made the claim that we know the shape of the earth. It's you guys, and you haven't proven the globe. So get on
What?
with
Just
it.
I'm
like they
not
don't
Come on,
claim they
flat
know
earth.
what's
advocating
Look,
for
flat
outside of the
earthers.
anything.
universe or what was
Flat
before the
earthers. Can
Big
we
Bang.
argue with it
You don't
better?
have
Yeah.
to make
Robert.
claims like that. Like they
Yeah.
don't know what was before the Big Bang. Like that's
Exactly.
okay. They don't know what 95% of the universe is. Dark matter and dark energy. They can still claim that they know things about the universe and how it works though.
Yeah, and I just
Yeah.
want to be clear. I'm not identifying with any type of we. I'm just saying that I have my own claims. I have my own arguments. To say that you need to make a claim between A or B or C, that's absurd. I've never claimed to be a flat earther. I've never claimed to be a globe earther or whatever you guys think you need to claim. You don't. You can undermine, you can make arguments, you can undermine arguments. You can talk about these things without having to claim either quote unquote model.
Yeah, they
Bro,
don't know
there's
what
people
gravity
out
is on the
here.
atomic level or how it works, but they still want to invoke gravity as proof, but fundamentally they don't understand it.
Hey, Taylor, what's the
There's
dome?
people out here that always have to categorize you in order to even engage with you because they don't understand how to be free from chains. All they know is chains. So if you don't have chains on, something is wrong with you, right? If you're not like me, bound to chains to something. Like, I think most religion is crap, right? Most of people are just making shit up. And, I mean, not much that's the proof best way to against it, describe but people. somebody wants to call me a Christian because I think murder is wrong, right? But I think all religion is kind of stupid. So you can't
Your
call me a
moral
Christian,
conscience says
right?
that.
But
Here's
they'll
the
have
here's
to
the
do
thing about
it.
labels. Here's the thing about labels. Here's the thing about labels. If you don't label yourself, everyone will label you, whether you like it or whether you don't like it. That you
Yeah, it
will
What's
be
their
doesn't mean their
labeled.
problem?
label's accurate. That doesn't
So
mean
the
their
best
label's
way of
accurate.
dealing
Red
with
Cloud,
that,
do
the
you
best way of
claim a
dealing,
shape of the Earth?
the best, yeah, yes, I do. The best way of dealing with that is to label yourself, and then no one
No,
gets
the
to say
best
what
way to
you are.
deal with that
No, it's
is
not.
to
No, it's
understand
not,
that
Red
they're
Cloud.
ignorant, that they don't have the preliminary power to do anything for you, and their assertion, whether it's based on experience or otherwise hearsay, is still a moot point. You don't know the entirety of the being. You can't judge it.
So,
Yeah, like
guys,
so companies and government
the
administrations that have gotten billions of dollars to study the Earth and the universe can say that they don't know what 95% of the universe is, and that's totally fine. But then if somebody says they don't know what shape the Earth is because they've never seen it, that's not okay.
no, because that's false.
What?
That's false. Well, hold I can give you like on. all your I top haven't scientists seen. saying that. Do you want me to do it? And then you're gonna admit you're wrong.
Let me make sure that I heard
Well, he
Taylor
had a good
right.
argument earlier. He
Hey,
had a good
Taylor,
argument earlier with
could
the
you
experience thing. And
could
the
Taylor,
problem
could you
problem is you're never going to experience
Taylor,
landing on the moon, Mars, or anything else.
Red
okay,
Cloud,
Taylor,
are
could
you
you?
familiar
What,
with
Red
what a
Flag?
false dichotomy
I'm
is? Are
sorry.
you
Give me
familiar
a
with
second,
that?
Taylor. Could you repeat your previous statement and make sure that I got my assessment right, please? Sorry.
Well, what I said was
Yeah.
a government administration who gets billions of dollars in tax money to study the
Mhm.
Earth and the universe can say that they don't know what 95% of everything is in the universe. But it's
Right.
not okay for somebody who's never personally studied or seen the Earth to say they don't know what shape it is.
Or say they don't
Oh, I
make a
see. You know
claim?
what? I misconstrued. I didn't hear everything that you said. It went by too fast. Um,
He was basically saying
let me think
your
about that.
top
It's a
scientists
good
get to
question.
study for years and get
Hold on.
millions of dollars. What's that?
Let me. Yeah. Let me think it through. So, if I have evidence that tells me the shape of the Earth or about anything, do you think it's reasonable if I think the evidence is valid for me to accept that evidence?
Yeah, if you think
Yeah,
it's
well,
reasonable, but other
evidence is
people
like
can look at
Okay.
the same evidence
experience.
and say that they're not accounting for all variables and not think the evidence is reasonable or valid or
There you
convincing
go.
enough to make a definitive
By
claim.
what by
That's
what
that's where this
metric of
debate
reason, Red
looks.
Cloud? By what
Say again.
metric of reason?
Yeah, and you would have to have proof, not evidence, but proof.
Well, what he said,
Actual
Like what?
was meaningless. He said if he found it acceptable, he would like. He basically said he would agree with himself. It was a meaningless statement.
It's
Hey,
not a
Toby.
meaningless
Yeah,
statement.
definitely.
If
I think the evidence is bad,
Toby.
then I'm not going to accept it. How is that a meaningless statement?
We
That
all
what you
agree. If
just said
we
was a
if we
meaningless
found
statement.
evidence that we thought was good, we would agree with it too. It's
If I found
you're not saying
That's not a
anything. It's a
point.
if
meaningless statement.
if I found evidence, if I found
Edwin
evidence
King.
that
Yeah, and if I found evidence that was convincing to me, guess what? I would also be convinced. Wow, whoa, groundbreaking shit.
Should it
I've
be by
investigated
standard?
my own argument and agreed with myself. And
Here's the weird thing. So, Red Cloud, you said that you get to like um believe evidence because like if you believe it's strong enough. I don't know exactly what you said, but don't we also have seen evidence? And even if you don't think our evidence is true, we don't think your evidence is actual evidence for the globe. You don't think our evidence is evidence for the flat Earth. So why do you come in here and mock and ridicule us?
What's the standard
You
of
have no right to
evidence that
ridicule us.
you're?
We're doing the same thing you're doing.
What's going to be like the standard of evidence? Is there like an objective terms or anything like so
I think
people
that
know what
something
kind
that
of
is
evidence to
They
present?
I
believe
think something that is repeatable that accounts
they
for all variables that is mutually exclusive would be good evidence for me.
Oh,
Mm.
you mean repeatable
So,
stuff? Actually repeating something like the moon landing.
Yes, stuff that we can do and repeat, right?
In
That is
reality,
mutually exclusive between a flat and a globe Earth that also accounts for all variables that could give you that same result. And that's what you have to do in
Well,
Sally, you
repeat.
landing
still
on the
there?
moon. Here's why they don't like the word proof, because proof is something that's so concrete that nobody can go, that's not true. And you getting in a rocket, your own, and landing on the moon yourself and bringing back your own data, more than enough. It's concrete. But you don't have
Word
that.
salad, are you
None of
still
us
there?
have that. So how
Yes,
can
I'm
you
there.
say that it's possible?
Okay. Okay, so your
Thanks for
diagram about the
talking,
moon.
though. Thanks. So
So
great
word
that you
salad.
just step on somebody. Thanks.
I'm there.
Sorry,
Did you
so,
have something like that?
yeah, your diagram of the moon.
Yeah.
Consider. I'm just about to post some 4 images. Just consider this for a second, yeah. This is the day-night map for about a week away from now on a particular date. I've just chosen a date with the moon's between Johannesburg in South America, Perth in Australia. See those two red dots on the first map?
Yeah.
Okay, both looking. If you look at the second one, these are stellariums for exactly the same time. You have to take my word on it, but I've just put the position and the time into these. You can check this if you want to. One's clearly looking very much more east, nearly east. One's looking nearly west. The same thing.
Yeah.
And they're both looking around 45 degrees elevation to see it. Both looking radically different directions. And there's your triangle like you drew. Roughly
Yeah.
45-degree
So now
angles.
raise
Very
the
rough.
altitude. Now raise the altitude.
So if I raise the altitude, I'll raise the elevation angles though, wouldn't I?
If you raise the altitude, eventually you won't be able to see the other side, right?
I'm stuck with those elevation angles, aren't I?
Why can't you raise the moon up higher?
Because then the elevation angles of that triangle would change, wouldn't they, radically differently?
hey,
Yeah.
I've
Has
drawn
real quick?
roughly.
I see your picture of that triangle. I'm just wondering, are all the verticals perpendicular to that horizontal line?
Why don't you just focus on what's in the picture rather than going off somewhere else because you don't know what's in the picture and chuckling?
I
Okay.
was just
Let me.
wondering if you took those angles, right, and then that's completing a triangle. So you have three straight lines there, and I'm wondering if one is horizontal and all the verticals are perpendicular to the horizontal.
Well, one is horizontal, and there's two lines at roughly 45-degree elevation angles. So clearly, if I keep that
pretty much dictates where the topology of where the moon is in that picture, doesn't it? Really, if we
Okay,
assume that.
let me post something in the chat, and
So,
so
Pazza, what are you saying about it? That you should. What's your claim about it? Something about the moon?
Well, word salad was
okay,
saying that.
Pazza, here's the picture. Now, why do you see my drawing? If the moon was
Yep.
there, people would see the other sides. But if you raise the moon altitude, you would be able to see less and less of the sides. So if
Well,
I drew that picture, wouldn't that be a straw man of flat Earth, right? And then
but
you
that
drew the
picture,
picture.
word
Isn't that a
salad.
straw man too?
Word salad. What you've done on my drawing is you've drawn two lines which clearly aren't around the 45-degree elevation angle, which Stellarium says they are.
Well, how do you
He's
know that
saying
the
he took
moon
an
is
angle
that angle?
measurement. He said he took an
Oh, so
angle
you're using
measurement to the moon.
trigonometry. You're using trigonometry.
Yeah, I'm using trigonometry for your example here.
Yeah,
Does
but your
trigonometry
baseline is
dictate
curved.
that streetlights would drop down?
One at a time, lads. One at a time.
Trigonometry is not accurate to perspective.
Oh, okay, that's how it
It's not
works, is
even
it?
close to accurate. I can drop
But you can
trigonometry
use it.
angles,
But
then
you can
actual angles of small objects, like just a small piece of wood.
you
So
can
how do
use
you
it to
explain the
measure
fact
the
they're both
height.
looking? Yeah. So how do you
Sorry,
explain the fact they're looking at roughly
Yes, done.
45-degree elevations from two roughly completely different in two different directions at 5,000 miles
Perspective.
apart? Can they be seeing exactly the same perspective of the object in the sky? How can that be possible?
Yes. So it would be
Draw it.
expected that that would happen because
Draw it.
the higher up an object is, actually, the steeper the angle will get. The more steeper it will appear to drop down due to perspective and convergence.
No,
Now draw it
but
in
you're
3D.
running away from the fact that you're running away from the fact that in a week's time, someone in Johannesburg will look 45-degree elevation to see the moon, and someone in Perth in Australia will on the same night at the same time. They're 5-ish thousand miles apart. If you try and draw it, represent this with two elevation angles, clearly where those lines meet will be where the thing is, and they're not looking from the same perspective on the same object, are they?
You can't use trigonometry because it's not the same thing as
Well,
perspective.
but draw what we
It
would
doesn't
use then.
match real
Draw it.
life the way your eyes work.
Well,
So
you're not.
Wait
if
a
you were to
minute.
use trigonometry
I'm
for
talking. I'm
streetlights, the
talking about
streetlights
the.
would never drop down.
You guys are doing really well. Just keep trying that one at a time thing. You're doing really well though.
I'm telling you what would be observed and the distance between them, and you're pretending that the light rays leaving the moon and reaching our eyes aren't following those straight lines, aren't you?
Yeah. So do streetlights drop down?
It's got nothing to do with perspective.
Has absolutely everything to do with perspective.
Draw it then. Draw what
Okay.
I did. Draw the equivalent of what I
The thing
drew, where they share the same perspective.
you're saying that the moon you shouldn't see at a 45-degree angle, and you're using trigonometry.
Right. Well, now you're
You're
just
ignoring
departing from the
perspective.
you're parting from the objective evidence we have. You're departing from that to say something that is genuinely word salad now because you're not able to draw it.
Okay. What is word salad? You cannot find anything I said that was word salad.
I can.
You
You're
won't
saying
draw
if
it.
it's high enough, you'll see the same thing. But if it's much higher than that, you're not looking at a 45-degree elevation to see it, are you anymore? You're looking at an
Why?
89-degree or an
Why?
85-degree angle.
Okay, and once again, you're
Why?
using trigonometry to predict those
No, no,
angles.
no, no.
You're
No,
you're
no,
not.
you're
Your eyes are
objecting to
way more.
someone. You're objecting to someone coming up with a propositional drawing which shows two people on a flat surface 5,000 miles apart, looking looking at the angles they be looking at to see the same thing, and you're just rejecting all of that, but you're not actually presenting any geometry or any drawings, and that's telling. You're just saying, nah.
You can't use geometry or trigonometry because that has nothing. They do not work the
What can
same
you
way
use then?
that your eyes.
Wait,
What
Wait,
can you use?
do you mean like
listen.
on stuff in the sky, or what do you mean exactly? Like,
Yeah, of course you can
They
use
like to
trigonometry
draw.
and
They
geometry.
like to draw straight lines and pretend that we have box vision.
well, we
That
can
Why
build
don't
a
you?
we
house like
Why
that,
don't?
right? We can build a house like that, right?
Instead of
That's
all
what
this
small
code
doesn't do.
Hold on,
why
Paz.
don't you
I'm just
draw? Why don't you draw the lines of light coming from the moon in that diagram that should they arrive at 45-degree-ish elevation angles to these positions?
hold on,
use
Paz.
3D.
Get your
I
pen
want to
out.
hold on, Paz. I want to ask word
3D.
salad something. Are you saying like the sky, like there's a curved visual space, like you have a personal dome? So then when you try to draw those lines, like the angles to the moon and everything, the moon isn't in like a actual position; it's in an apparent position.
Correct. Yes, I would word it differently, but yeah. So
What?
basically, like if you look at street lamps, like if you look at street lamps and you're at the eye level, they will appear to not drop down when you're at the height of the top of the street lamp. Then if you go down to where you're standing at ground level, then they will appear to have a steeper angle towards the ground. Now lie down on the ground, they have a even more steeper angle. Trigonometry does not predict that they will
Yeah,
drop
it
down like that.
absolutely does. Go ahead and draw
Yes.
the side view and draw the arrows, and it'll be exactly what you see.
Cut off.
If you're looking at something
No,
45 degrees
Wait,
in the
hold on.
sky,
Trigonometry doesn't. Wait. Trigonometry doesn't make a statement about optics. That's silly.
Do you agree that your eye has angular resolution?
oh my god.
That has nothing to do with what
Okay.
we're talking
You
about.
can answer.
Okay.
Well, yeah. I have to get going in a couple minutes. So
Yeah. Well, you need
let's
to
finish
think
this up.
about this because if you're
Let's
looking
fix
up
that
at
fire alarm
45
word
degrees in
salad.
the sky and someone else is 5,000 miles away in the opposite direction looking up 45 degrees in the sky, how do you envisage where the moon is in that scenario?
Okay. Is the street light? Is it in when you based
Now
on
you're
your
talking streetlights
elevation?
again.
Is it in a different? Okay.
We're talking about the
Is the street
moon
light?
and its
Yes.
observation, aren't we?
Yes,
Yes.
I think he's trying to
Yes.
ask you a qualifying question. Get Edwards, Helen.
So if you have a street light, based on your elevation, will it appear to drop steeper? Will it, like it as it gets further away? Will it have a steeper angle towards the ground? Like if you have a row of street lamps, do you agree that the higher up that you are, the less of the steep? Sorry, I'm not wording it correctly. The lower you are to the ground, the steeper the angle will be. So like if um until it's almost at a 90-degree angle, so that like if it's really really high up, it will appear to have a 90-degree angle appearing to drop down. That's what we see the moon doing, which means the moon is pretty high up. Do you agree that the lower you get, the steeper the angle becomes?
The lower you get, the steeper. You mean steeper higher in the sky? You mean elevation wise?
I struggled to follow that question. To anyone
Yeah,
else?
Okay.
me too.
Word
So
salad, could you try rewording that so maybe Pazza can understand better? I
okay,
struggled to follow you
yeah.
there.
So if you look at a row of street lamps and you're at the your eye level is at the top of the street lamps. So are you following that?
Yeah, they'll
Think about
stay at
that.
eye level. They'll stay at eye level
Yeah,
because of perspective.
yeah. So you agree that street lamps, the top of them will appear to follow a straight line all the way to
Yeah,
till it
can you hear
disappears?
me? Can you hear me? Because I just
Yes.
answered that.
The premise is kind of flawed. I mean, it's either going to fade left or right. If you're looking at it straight on, then the one that's in front
Okay.
of you is going to be the largest optical resolution, and so it's going to actually block out all the ones behind it, which
Yeah.
actually still makes the point you're trying to make. But like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Uh,
But yeah, so yeah, they'll generally be able to follow straight lines. Like you wouldn't see the one in the back be very low compared to the one in the front, right?
okay, but what's this got to do with the
Yeah.
moon?
Yeah. So now, if you decrease your elevation, now you view them from ground level. The one in the front will be way higher than the one in the back. And then if you lie down on the ground, the one in the back will be way, way lower than the one in the front, and it'll be actually way closer
Okay.
to the horizon.
Yeah,
Do you agree with all
yeah,
that?
okay.
So
Yeah,
tell
okay.
me the
Let's supposing I agree with
trigonometry.
all that. Then let's talk about the moon in this scenario.
Okay, the moon is completely applying with this because
Okay.
when you have a certain altitude to the moon, it will appear to drop down at a certain rate. So your trigonometry angles do not predict that street lamps will do that the same way. But
Why you bring me back to street lamps again? Let's talk about the moon.
yeah,
Two people,
okay.
5,000 miles apart, one looking east, one looking west at the moon.
Okay. Why are street lamps not valid in this argument?
But let's talk about
Rochelle,
what
can
I
you turn
brought to
off
the
the beeping?
table. Why are you doing this?
Because true lamps have everything to do with it. Because it's
Okay,
basically a celestial object, but you know that these streetlights are not
okay. So let's
physically
suppose
dropping down.
I said I'll agree with everything you've got about to say about street lamps. Let's get back to what I brought to the table. The moon. Two
This
places, 5,000 miles apart. One looking east, one looking west. Both of them at roughly 45-degree elevation angles. They see the moon. Let's talk about that.
and how'd you get those elevation angles?
What do you mean?
Bro,
How'd you
alarm.
get them? Oh, come on, man. You're
Did you
looking
use
in the night sky.
trigonometry? Did you use
Okay, all right.
geometry?
I'll leave it there. Where so if you can ask me how I get an elevation angle to a star at night, then I'll
I'm
definitely
trying to
know
get you
what
to
it is.
realize something, but you
What are you trying to
apparently
get me to
don't.
realise? Do you think we can't
That
work out the elevation of a star at any given time in the night sky? You think there's a problem with that?
no, no.
What came
What?
first? Sync rate.
Oh, sorry,
Or
sorry, Geo. It's a freezer, but I can leave the area.
bank
Anybody want to
angle.
address this?
Okay, is that better?
Yeah, it sounds way better. There's like a
Yeah.
beeping sound that was
Yeah, but
For now.
one of my freezers is like it never wants to acknowledge that it is actually closed. But yeah,
that's
I
how
don't
you
know.
keep
Can
cold
someone
in
else
Jamaica.
explain to whoever that was,
T3.
Kazak? Someone else explain it better? Because I do have to get going.
Are you trying to say
And
that
he doesn't.
streetlight convergence? You're trying to talk about that?
Well, yeah, he's like applying geometry and angles that you draw like in 2D, trying to apply it to your eyes, even though your eyes don't work that way with objects.
Well, can you draw how it does work? Because you've got two places, 5,000-ish miles apart, instantaneously looking at the moon. One's looking due east, one's looking
No,
due
no,
west.
that's his
They're both.
point. That's wait. We got it. I can make this a lot easier for you. That's his point is that you can't draw it, right? Because you're seeing it from the perspective of an observer. We're not looking at this from like pure Euclidean space. It's not something you can draw because you're talking about
Oh,
observations of the sky from a
I
lens.
see.
In other words, you can't model it.
Oh, we can't
But if
draw
you're
it.
on, if
You
you're
We
just
can't
can't
on a,
model.
understand the sky.
That Earth is unmodelable.
Yeah, but
if
It
you're
wait,
on a,
doesn't exist in
reality is
reality.
reality is
I'd forgotten
non-Euclidean,
about that.
obviously, but we do use Euclidean on the ground, right? But you guys would have to agree you wouldn't be able to draw this either, because when you draw
We
that
would.
exactly.
90
Even NASA,
degree,
NASA
what?
agrees. NASA says the
Yeah,
moon's in apparent positions. It's like this is old. This is not an argument.
yeah, you
Oh,
guys have to agree with it
sure.
simply because of this, Paz. When you
NASA's
draw
a
that
reliable
90
source of
degree
information
angle,
now.
dude, when you draw the 90 degree angle down from the moon there, and then you derive that distance, you like do this whole Haversine formula thing and all this stuff. It's like weird,
Mathematically.
but it's a 90 degree angle, and 90 degree angle makes perpendicular lines. And perpendicular lines are straight, dude. They're not curving.
Yeah,
This is
It's
all
see,
just
just
an
diverging
axiom.
away from the data. The
In
information in this
reality, at
diagram
least.
is quite clear.
well, it's
Yeah, I
impossible
think
for
What
you
you're
nailed
saying is
it.
this.
So
perpendicular
What you're
yeah,
saying
I'm
lines
gonna be
is the
going
to
now.
moon
not be straight. It's
observations
impossible
of
I'm
the
for
gonna be
moon
going
vertical
now.
lines to
are
not be straight, right?
undrawable. Is that what you're
Go
Later,
saying?
Hasek,
later.
can finish
Thanks,
because you can talk after I leave. But yeah,
thanks,
I think you guys
Rosella.
nailed it. What I was saying. I guess I just didn't describe it right, but yeah, thanks.
We just don't
One
know, do we?
one analogy I like
Talk
to
to you
use
guys
Good
later.
is
night, Simon.
if you put a quarter in the bottom of a pool and then you have everyone point at the pool, that'd be like drawing lines, right? Everyone would draw lines. You'd know the exact point of the pool, of the quarter in the pool. You'd have a map. You do an overhead map. But then once you fill the water with, you fill the pool with salt water and everything's refracted, everyone's going to point to a different spot where that quarter is. And all of a sudden, all your lines are not going to have a single they're not all going to intersect at the same point. You have no idea where the quarter is. It's basic refraction.
That's why you
Oh, I
take
Good
your
point.
see.
wedding ring off and put it in the glove box when you go to the beach.
Is
By
anybody
the
going to
way,
write this down and present it to the world and to a wider audience? Because I'd like to be there when that happens.
well, what
Hey,
Toby just
do
described is
you
basic
agree with this, or
refraction.
are you going to disagree?
No,
No,
well,
he's
I
just
don't
here. He's
really.
just here to make himself feel better by trying to argue with people without
No,
actually having an
no,
argument of his own.
no.
Well,
I
what he
would at
does,
least.
what
I
he's
would.
doing
The
is
whole
he
point of
wants
the
to.
whole point of
He
what I'm.
has intellectual
Give
insecurities,
give Paz a
and so
chance
he
to
wants to
reply
find people
because
who are more stupid than him.
Give
That's what he was
Patrick
hoping
Bateman
for. You're correct. That
please.
is what he
The
was
whole
hoping
point.
for.
The whole
Give
point in
Patrick
the
some
analogy is
credit.
if you put a soccer ball with different colours and different on different areas around it at the bottom of a swimming pool, when everyone stood around it and they all pointed to it, they would all see a slightly different arrangement of colours because they're looking at and they're not seeing they're not sharing exactly the same perspective point of view of the thing. That's the point we're trying to talk about here, which word salad made out. Word salad made out. These two places, Johannesburg and this place, that he's not even giving an explanation why they see exactly the same pattern and configuration and not another bit because they're looking around it a different way. If they both see it's fair, how can they both see exactly the same thing from two different directions? Can you explain
You
that?
Because
In,
can't
you
even
get the
draw it
swimming
like that.
pool. You get the swimming pool example that Toby laid out, right?
Yeah, so you put a football at the bottom of the swimming pool, and you paint different coloured spots all around the pool, and you've got people stood around the pool pointing to it without the water being there, like you just did in your analogy. They're all going to see a different arrangement of colours, aren't they? They're not going to all see exactly the same perspective of the ball.
Oh,
Let's go with your
transparency
Actually,
analogy.
if they're
exactly.
all actually, wait, hold on. Actually, real quick. If they're all standing above, like looking down at the pool, pointing into it, they're all going to see one half of the ball. So, I mean, maybe you
Yeah,
might get like a
and they're
little
not
bit
all
more
going.
resolution if you're able to cover like a vast distance and get like actually. Let's put it this way. Let's say the swimming pool is 2 miles deep, and you have a light so bright at the bottom that everyone's pointing at it from that perspective. Then you fill that with salt water. Now the distance is. Now you're basically. Hold on. I'm kind of lost my train of thought here. But essentially, you fill those, if the distance was so great that you don't even actually like. Man, I am bad at articulating myself right now.
Take your
Exaggerated.
time.
Yeah.
Take your
Just
time.
exaggerate it. Yeah, you don't actually know the distance to the bottom, so you're actually only going to see one perspective. Everyone's going to see the exact same side of the ball, the same colors. You may see different, like different amounts of certain colors from certain angles, but you're only going to see one side of the ball when the distance is great enough. Sorry that took me so long to get out.
That's fine. So everyone is stood in a way that their their arm is pointing 45 degrees down rather than 90 degrees down, but somehow they're pointing 45 degrees, but the ball's
Well,
2 miles
no, dude,
down
why are
and
you
somehow
changing the
looking.
premise? You said it was about the colors on the ball. Why are we talking about where the arms are pointing now?
Because if in this example where people are looking at the moon, their arms are all pointing in different directions, okay, and surely there must be a correlation between where they're all pointing and where the thing is.
Not necessarily. I mean, if let's say I fill a glass of water with or a glass with salt water and I put a straw in it and I make my assumption about where the straw is based on what just purely looking at the water itself and not or looking at the straw in the water and not the straw in the air. And I go to put my mouth on the straw, I'm going to miss the straw, poke myself in the eye. It's not where I think it is.
Okay, but all right, but
Refraction.
would you agree? But if there are two people in Johannesburg, one in Johannesburg, one in Perth, 5,000 miles apart, and they're all pointing at 45 degrees towards the moon simultaneously, straight line pointing up 45 degrees, like two little Nazis doing a Nazi salute, both facing different directions. Yeah. Where can you draw where the lines of sight are going? Where are those going? If they reach and get the same perspective of the moon, there
No,
must be
dude,
bendy light.
you're just pointing at the sky. I just explained refraction. Like, you're literally just pointing at an arbitrary spot above you.
An arbitrary
I don't
spot.
understand how like, you just disregarded everything I said and acted like you had a new
Well, I
point.
didn't disregard it, but can you draw it? Can you geometrically represent two people looking in radically different directions
No,
at two
dude, that was the
radically different
first,
angles?
this very first thing I said to you was that was the whole point, is that you can't draw it. And then I gave you
Oh,
multiple explanations behind why you can't draw it, which you seem to agree with, but now you're going back and saying, oh, but you can't draw it. Like, that's a big problem. Like,
how can you explain it? But how can you
you're just
explain it but not
repeating
be?
yourself, and you're making the same non-points that I've already addressed.
What value is an explanation that you can't draw a diagram of in this respect?
Okay, so when I wake up in the morning, and if I haven't drank water in 3 days, I'm going to be really thirsty, right?
Yes.
Can you draw me a picture of that?
Right, okay. But we're talking
Like,
about perspective, geometry, observations, lines of sight. We're not talking about how much you had to drink, are we?
You're talking.
It's a
You're
wonderful
talking about.
analogy, but it's a bit loose.
It's okay. I admit it's not the best analogy, but we're talking about the sky that we haven't measured. The only way you can justify any of your claims, your bizarre claims, is if you buy into the entire heliocentric narrative and all of
No,
NASA's
no,
claims
no,
and
no,
all
no,
of the
no, no, no.
NASA footage.
No.
Don't interrupt me. Otherwise, you're just making claims about the sky, which has not been measured. You're talking about what could literally be the exact same analogy I gave of a multiple mile deep pool with a light at the bottom and it's filled with salt water. So you really have no idea where anything is that you're pointing at. And actually, if all these biblical cosmologists are correct, there could be a dome in between you and the pool. So who knows what the hell you're looking at?